Well, there's some more troubling details emerging now in the tragic shooting by Alec Baldwin on his New Mexico film set. The gun he fired was reportedly used by crew members of the movie for off-site fun. They allegedly used it for target practice with live rounds. TMZ reporting that gun was fired at off-the-clock gatherings and that the live ammunition was found in the same area where the blank rounds for the movie were stored. Former ATF Deputy Assistant Director and President of S3 Global Consulting, Scott Sweetow, joins us. Scott, talk about stupid. I mean, Hollywood stupid, if this TMZ report is true. Using a prop gun, putting live bullets in a prop gun, then using it in a movie. What's your reaction?
Yeah, good afternoon, Eric. I'll tell you, when I heard this, like a lot of people, I was trying to figure out what was going on. And as these reports have come out, they've actually been even more troubling than what was originally reported. I think a lot of people think that because something is a Hollywood prop, that it's not dangerous. And an example I was giving a friend the other day is I said, well, they used a DeLorean as a prop in Back to the Future. That doesn't mean that you couldn't run somebody down with it. So when they call something a prop or a replica, very often it is a live firearm capable of having real bullets and inflicting real tragedy. And that's exactly what it seems happened here.
There's also the report that live rounds, live ammunition was stored in the same area, according to TMZ, as the blanks used in the movie. That would seem to violate every safety protocol there would ever be on a movie set.
Yeah, it is incredibly reckless, especially if you're using a firearm that is capable of taking live ammunition. In this case, it seems like it was an old cowboy-style gun to kind of relate to something familiar to people. So it was an old-style revolver that would fit in the period that this movie was supposed to be covering. But a lot of times the firearms have special reducers in the barrel, or they can't actually accept live ammunition. They can only accept blanks, for instance. That apparently was not the case with this particular firearm, which means that trying to mix live ammunition with the blank ammunition that would otherwise go in the gun is just really a tragedy waiting to happen.
It is such a tragedy and so unnecessary and so avoidable if it would seem professional restraints and guidelines were followed here. Another point, remember Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, was tragically killed by a 44 slug in the movie The Crow back in 1993. In that case, it was a part of a cartridge, apparently, killed him. There were blanks in the gun. Any gut or any sense from you about what may have happened here? If this was a live round or a part of a live round, how does that work?
So, based on the injuries that were described that actually killed Ms. Hutchins, it sounds like that this was a full-on projectile, not a wad, for instance, or a piece of paper that would go in some types of blank ammunition, but an actual live metallic round. And that's based on some reports that the round actually penetrated her chest, went through, and struck the producer. So that strongly implies that it was a live round of ammunition and not a blank, which is why it is even more important if you're using an actual firing, working revolver, that you have to keep the live ammunition completely away from where the blank ammunition is. And frankly, that responsibility falls to the armor that's on set, but even an actor picking up a firearm, because these actors do get training about safe handling of firearms. And, you know, you are taught, if you're handling a firearm, that every firearm is loaded and you never point a firearm at something unless you intend to shoot it. So if you follow those safety rules, you can avoid something like this, even if there was a tragedy like a mix-up in the types of ammunition. But apparently that was not followed either.
It's just so crushing and sad. Scott Sweetow, former ATF Deputy Assistant Director, certainly they'll get to the bottom of this. And it does sound, as you describe it, that it was potentially a live round because it did penetrate her and hit the director. Scott, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.